You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 23rd of January 2025.
And we're recording.
Welcome to
the Ligers Den.
To the witching hour.
The witching hour. 7:20. Hey, smoke 'em if you got them. 7:20, am I right?
Yeah. It's the evening of the biggest hurricane since 1836.
Fucking weather. Met Aaron need to reel it in a bit, don't they? All of the fucking...
Pater Tobin, he does a lot wrong, but I agree with him on that.
Nah.
Every storm doesn't need a name. It just doesn't. It doesn't. It never has, and it doesn't.
It's just fucking bullshit for these talking points. What you're saying right now, I'm giving out to you directly and Pater Tobin. Pater Tobin, but the most adorable part of the cat, as I've always said.
The most adorable part of Pater's foot.
He's got little toe beans.
Yeah, little black spots under each toe.
No, it's to me, whenever I hear people go, not every storm needs a name, it's the equivalent of going, they're bringing litter into the schools because some of the kids identify as cats. You're like, but
not every storm needs a name.
Over yourself. Just get over yourself.
No. Speaking of bland and horrible, I've been listening, I don't know why, to the Two Johnnies keep putting out songs.
Yeah.
And
Dad's in the rad.
She likes the guy. The sky. I think her dad's in the rad.
Yeah.
The rad dad.
I'm not saying they're really good, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is the Two Johnnies whole thing. They're better than they've any right to be. You know what I mean?
No, disagree there. I think that they are exactly as good or as bad as they deserve to be. No, I think that they're bad. I think that they're incredibly bad.
But we've both noted really interesting thing they've done on their podcast.
Well, that was before I listened to... Remember when we were reading out the questions that they asked Simon Harris? And then when they asked him about Ross Cray and what he was going to do about all the migrants, I was like, I'll go and listen to that segment of the podcast. And I did, and it was horrible. And I hated it. And I hate them. I hate them a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about their songs.
Yeah, what would they say about Ross Cray, the noble people of Ross Cray who screamed in a little boy's face?
Well, they have a song.
This guy of Asian descent told him to go back to Africa,
I think their songs scratch an interesting part of my brain, They have one called The Woman of Ballahadreen.
Yeah.
And it's really just a list of town names in Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like the SEO dump that they are
That's not SEO. That's just
yes, it is. That's for rural Instagram dickheads. That's the name of my town.
But I love that. I love the names. I love being like, I've been there. Let me get a list of what's it called again? The woman. I just read it out. The girl. What was it called?
I don't know.
The Woman from Ballahadreen. Lyrics. Kinsale. Abbey Leaks. Abbey Feel.
Pathetic.
So good.
Pathetic.
County Clare.
So it's not even a town, it's just fucking county. And there's a county of the biggest shitheads in Ireland, so of course they're going to be clapping like seals here and there. That's me. Does he say any town in Clare? It's like, no, but it's all at Clare. He loves us all so much.
Well, he said, where's that? Cork?
Which? What? Kinsale's from Cork, yeah.
Abbey Leaks, where's that?
I think it's in Wexford, I want to say. Waterford? Wexford?
Abbey Feel. I think that's in Kerry.
I don't know what that is.
We went on the tear all around County Clare.
So Abbey Leaks, I'm going to It's in Leash. Sorry.
These lyrics are great. We ate 14 fries in the town of Athy.
Oh, shut up.
Anascall, Wexford, presumably Wexford town. Balbriggan gets a mention.
Okay.
Where is Ballahadreen?
It's not in Galway, is it?
Oranmore.
Hey, that's in Galway.
Yeah.
Hey, that's where I used to live.
You did perk up when I said that.
Shut up. Do not.
You really did. That's all your eyes.
Ballagharine is in Roscommon. I really hate that. I did. My ears did perk up. I was sitting a little tall.
It's not even in the song. I just made that up.
No, you didn't.
I did. It's not in the song.
Fucker. Bastard.
Teray Pier.
Tara Pier. What the hell?
Yeah,
Teray Pier?
That's what it
sounded like...
Anyway.
Anyway, the news.
Sorry. I have something to tell you now.
Okay.
The Two Johnnies animated podcast.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
I'm going to send you this.
This better be fucking... It better not be fucking text. It better be like action. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it fucking now.
It.
That's amazing. This is unbelievable.
I know. Like, they got Fat Ugly Johnny good.
Oh my God.
As in, that's roughly what he looks like.
Yeah, but then Chad Johnny on the right.
Chad Johnny is...
What the hell is that?
For some reason he's blonde. Oh, is he playing... One sec. Is he playing a character?
I don't think so.
Get your secretary to do it. I know women that have chocolate, credit cards,
Yeah.
Josh Flanders Pearson.
Which one are you watching? D4 Dad
I watched
is
the one
back.
where it had Noel Gallagher. It was on YouTube.
Oh, the one I watched is called D4 Dad is Back.
No, so it's not. He has like this big fucking jaw, and you're just like, it's like that guy who loves Trump and does that caricature of him. It's like, I don't know who drew this, but like they love Johnny, which the one on the right.
Yeah, they really do. They're just like, he's a sex symbol.
He is sexy though. I would give him that. Actually, he's the one out of the pair of them who's the most racist when he was asking the question. He was like, because like the other one, like simple Johnny, was like, was going like. So I live in Rosscray, and like the town, it's got nothing. It's got nothing. And like I tried to book in for an optician's appointment, and they told me like next week. I could be waiting weeks for an optician's appointment. So
yeah.
I was like, an optician's appointment, good stuff. Just like, well, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's the migrants' fault somehow. They're all booking up all the optician's appointments, you know.
Yeah.
And then Simon Harris was like, well, we're doing, every day. And then like, Simple Johnny is like, he doesn't know what to say. So then it's up to racist Johnny to like step in and just be like, actually the stats show this, and this. And he keeps trying to come at him with the hard data that he got off of grip.ie, very obviously.
It's just so funny that they're like, the one thing they give a fuck about is like racism.
I was quite surprised, but it was also, it wasn't like, it also wasn't surprising, that way, where it's like, I know the people who were listening to this and they all think these things. And then when the two Johnnies start saying them, I was like, well, I don't know why I thought the two Johnnies wouldn't think these things if the people who listen to the show think these things as well.
It's just like,
they just think like, they
it's
would
one
like,
thing,
yeah.
I'm not surprised they think it. Is that they, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure they think, well, not a lot of things, but they have thoughts.
Yeah.
And like, it's just surprising to me that they would get political in that way.
Well, I mean, they have the Taoiseach on, so they had to, but like,
they
is
don't.
Interesting.
But like, we saw that other
I suppose they don't.
where they were interviewing for Accra and they were like, what's your favourite sandwich? You know what I mean? Like, they must really give a fuck about it, is what I'm saying.
The two Johnnies were like, how much is enough? They were kind of like, like, when do you draw the limit? And then he was like, and how many people are coming in through Belfast? We have no idea. And it's like, we're overwhelmed. We're inundated.
Yeah.
We're like, it was doing this thing of like, they're proper besieged. And it was very dark. But yeah, it was funny how like, I don't know which Johnny it was, but the one that's not Simple Johnny, like he was very much like gunning for Harris, and like every answer that Harris gave, it was not satisfying to him. And eventually at one point they were like, I don't know why he said this, but he's like, we're going to have to move on. I'm getting the curly finger now. And I was like, what the fuck does a curly finger mean? And I guess some producers like move it along, but they acted like it was a phrase that everybody knew. And then the next thing that happens is Simple Johnny's like, like that type. He was like sitting there like watching racist Johnny go to battle with Simon Harris. And then once they had to move on to their final round of questions, he's like, just like...
Like they just edited him into the laughing or what?
No, he just had an awkward laugh. He just it was like he's the hype man to the show.
Yeah.
So once the show starts to get dark, he's like, I don't know what to do with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not cultured like other Johnny. I don't be reading that.
You've switched their names. It's Fat Johnny and the other one.
What was the?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not like normal Johnny. I don't be reading John McGurk's tweets every day. You know.
So which
I don't
one?
be reading much.
Which one was the racist?
Shouldn't be fucking throwing shade at him for not reading.
Which one is it? Who was the racist one?
The one with the one that they gave the big jaw to.
Oh right, Normal Johnny.
Normal Johnny, yeah. I'm getting lost with the Johnnies. There's only two of them, and I can't.
There's
fucking,
only two. From now on, it's Fat Johnny and Normal Johnny.
Okay.
We're nearly out of time. We're getting the curly finger there from next door. Okay.
Speaking of another fucking dickhead from Tipperary, Michael Lowry. I don't know. That's a transition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another racist dickhead from Tipperary.
Yeah. This is so.
Where do you want to start with this? Because like I had like, yeah, go on.
I don't even. I was just saying I don't even know. Like, so there was an election.
So that's what I want to do, because I have like the plan for government up here. Like, as in I don't have like plan for government. What I'm saying is that, okay, like you're saying, I think we should do it that way. Election, then what was happening, and then just what happened yesterday. You know.
Okay. Plan for government. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Election. I got the two mixed up. There was an election last year.
Yeah. It's just, when you start anticipating some of the details, like there was an election last year, they still haven't formed the government, and then when they're going to form the government, they're going to go on holiday for 2 weeks. It's like,
unreal.
It's so funny. It's like, they're like, fuck you, you idiots, you fucking pieces of shit.
There was an election last year, and the results were, well, I always forget the Fianna Fáil 45, something like that.
Yeah.
Sinn Féin, you remember 35?
Let's look them up. All right, results.
Get them up.
Irish election. Typing with one hand. You think I'd be better at it? 2024. 48 seats for Fianna Fáil, 39 for Sinn Féin, 38 for Fine Gael, 1 for the Green Party, 11 for Labour, 11 for Soc Dems, 3 for PBP, Solidarity, 2 for Aintu, 4 for the Irish Independents, and 16 for Independents overall. And then other is 1. I don't know what the hell other could be. What does that mean? Nothing.
Would have been the Micah party.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That has to be it. Yeah, you're right. It's the 100% redress scheme.
Yeah. So, what I expected, I think it was like Fianna Fáil going in with Fine Gael, and then I sort of thought, the easiest thing for them to do would just be like the Greens were a mud guard, you know? So they're just like, we need a new mud guard. Let's go in with Labour. Because they're always happy to do that.
And like another reason for that would be that hey, the rural independents vote in line with us like 100% of the time anyway, so who cares? Might as well get Labour in here as well and increase it, you know? And then we muddy them and then prevent any future coalition building happening with anybody on the left, if that is the left, air quotes, if that is even possible, you know?
Like, it's such an easy swap out. And then, like, you don't have to promise Labour anything because they're just happy to be in power. Anyway, they don't do that. They decide to go in. And then it was like, they needed, like, what? 1 or 2
I think they needed 4.
4. And then they're like, we're going in with 11 independents.
I don't think it's 11, actually. I think it's
Is it 8?
like 6 or 7 or something.
It's more than that. It's surprisingly...
Okay.
Let me look up. What are they called?
I think the other thing is that they just got greedy. They like, if it's independence, then they don't have to offer them ministries. Except for Noel Grealish. I think he got a ministry. He didn't get a ministry. He got like a junior ministership. But like a lot of them they're like, I know, they just want their own ministry. So
yeah,
they don't want to do junior anymore. So if they had Labour, then they would have to have promised them maybe like 2 cabinet positions, or whatever. They were just not prepared to do it, you know.
So you're right. It's 8. And I think that, but that doesn't include the Healy rate.
Yeah.
That's.
Are we sure that doesn't include them? Why wouldn't
The
it?
regional independent group is made of Michael Lowry, Shane Canny, Kevin Boxer Moran, Noel Grealish, Marion Harkin, Barry Hennigan, and Gillian O'Toole. How many is that?
He's so funny. It was a clip that they released of Barry Hennigan, and he just really cannot. I was so pissed off that he deleted that smug clip that he did.
Yeah,
answering that question.
Independent from North. So is it
From
Dublin Bay
Clontarf.
North? Yeah, Clontarf. Anyway, Irish speaker. His sister's an influencer.
Yeah, he had a TG Carr thing, didn't he? Or he had something
called Baragram.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah, we talked about that. But like he's got this fucking, he's got Israeli face. I think we said it, but he's like grinning from ear to ear constantly, and he's proper. I'm actually laughing, and also he looks really tired, which is another Israeli thing, to look really tired and just be smiling like a maniac. And then also to be incredibly sensitive and not be able to handle any criticism whatsoever. So like people will be like, you just did this for your own benefit. And he's there, I didn't do it for my own benefit, I did it for the people of Clontarf, the people that I represent, and that's what they want, and that's what they're going. And it's like, Garmila Mahagat, and he's walking away, and they're just doing the usual thing of like yelling things after him. And usually, I've never seen a politician actually turn around. And he's standing like just fucking miles away from the camera. And he's like, I'm doing it for the people that I represent. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for me. And it's just like...
He did turn around.
He did turn around. Yeah, it's crazy. I've never seen it. So desperate.
There's one thing I'm prioritising, and that's Dublin Bay North and the people who put me there.
Barry, why is the precedent to this?
Yeah, where's the precedent, Barry?
Michael Lowry, we've said it before, convicted of corruption.
I don't know if he is convicted. You said that before, but I don't think that's correct. I think he is. The DPP had him in late last year, and it was of something to do with the Moriarty Tribunal. But with the Moriarty Tribunal, they found that he was like corrupt as fuck. But then nothing about it was like actionable for whatever reason.
Yeah, he got Bobby right. I thought they got him under tax.
I don't think so.
No,
but
here.
We all know.
In 2018, he was found guilty on one of the charges. He's faced 5 charges, including blah, blah, blah. In 2018, he was found guilty on 1 charge.
Really? What was it?
It was just to do with a payment that he didn't declare until years later.
Well, here's a headline as well that Mick Call put up. Mick Call has been having a whale of a time with this. Anyway, this is from 2016, January 26, 2016. Micheál Martin. No party can involve Michael Lowry in a coalition. He's like, no one can be in a coalition with this fucker. And it's like, okay. Well,
it is amazing to see them do the U-turn on this. And But the U-turn is just like, well, he's not going to be in a position to do any corruption.
Well, isn't he like in government?
I know, but they're like, he's not going to be able to do it.
But even if he wasn't, the idea of like if you commit a crime like that, and then
it's also
like
just not,
nothing happens to you.
It's not a reassurance. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're worried about something, and then someone goes, "Yeah, that's not going to happen."
I also think like the idea of like there's plenty of crimes that he could have committed that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that idea of going like, all right, well, he did it before, but this time he won't do it.
Even though he's completely unrepentant and he's in the exact same situation.
Even though he did it before and we didn't know about it at the time, but now we do. In a few years' time, we won't be looking back going, oh, look at this other fucking crime that he committed.
Yeah.
You know? Except it's not a crime because like nothing happens to him, you know?
Verona Murphy was nominated by the regional independent group to be Count Gordon, which is sort of important for the next bit.
Yeah, because that was clearly done. And so her getting it was like clearly them demonstrating like, look, we want to partner up. Can we do this?
Yeah.
And they're like legitimizing the vulgarity, the racism, all this stuff that they pretend to abhor. And they're like, please come on in. And and like they're also making a fucking mockery of everything, you know? Like, who the fuck is Verona Murphy but some racist fucking dickhead? Do you know?
Yeah, but well, I'm not. But who are any of the Count Gordons?
Well, they're in their parties, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know them. All I'm saying is, like, once I see somebody's in Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, then once they get the chair, if they do or don't, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But then when it's like, no, we're just going to get it from these rural independence groups, like Rural Independence Group, the group that's famous for pretty much just solely being racist fucking gombeans, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no,
that's making a statement.
Yeah, it really is a massive, like, we're deciding with the racists now. As long as
like they don't care. They don't give a shit. And it's very dangerous.
So then,
well, before we even did, so then they start organizing the plan for government, which I wanted to address. So, like, tell me what happened in the last election when people were running on issues. Okay, like, what were just the top three? What were the top three things that kept coming up last election? Okay, it doesn't even have to be issues. Sinn Féin pedo,
like in
obviously.
2024.
Yeah.
What did you say, Sinn Féin?
Sinn Féin pedos. One.
Oh yeah. Micheál Martin nearly ran on like COVID. You talked about it that much.
Say like
housing,
cost of living, immigration, Sinn Féin pedos, I would say are top three.
I'd say housing was up there.
I almost feel like we're at like a weird stalemate with housing. It's like nothing happens. It's just a stasis. It's like the government are like, we're going to do this. And it's the same thing that they've done forever.
Like, I don't believe them, but they did run on it. You know what I mean?
What they said was they didn't say they were going to do anything different. They were like, the recovery is just about to work, so let's keep it going.
Yeah, you say you have the policies to sort out the housing crisis, but your fingerprints are all over it. You have responsibility for housing at the minute. This is your mess.
What mess?
So, like, what I want to say then, in the plan for government, they are now proposing, okay, we're going to reduce VAT to 9% or something. Where it's like, good.
That is such a relief. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I've been having sleepless nights. What is it, 12% down to 9%? And what's going to be so good is that things are going to be cheaper now. Like, when you go into a pub, it's going to be... That saving is going to be passed on.
We're grateful for it, you know? And I'm going to quote the man in the black pajamas again, but, like, do you remember when, like, he's like, when they were encouraging, like, the local breaks during COVID, and everybody went out to all the hotels around Ireland and were complaining about how miserable and expensive every place that they went was. And then we're out the other side of COVID, like the extremities of COVID. I mean, people would argue we're still in it, but whatever.
No, that's bullshit. Come on.
We're done. R.I.P. COVID. We hardly knew ye. We hardly remember ye. But like now everybody's like, you know, my small business is on its fucking knees. Okay?
Yeah. Well, then start sucking.
But you're just like, okay, well, like maybe that's because you suck, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so now they're going like, we need VAT to be reduced to 9%, and then their business is still going under, and they're like, well, something else needs to be done. I am not a bad businessman.
Yeah.
That's not the reason that this is. So there's a bunch of junior ministers as well who are going to apparently getting like 200k salaries, whatever.
And then there's 2 super juniors.
Yeah. Super juniors.
Which is they've sort of half invented it, and it's just a way for like, it's literally like a badge that says, I'm important. It's like a way of being, you get to sit in cabinet meetings. There's only a maximum of 15 cabinet members. And then now they're tacking on 2 like junior, super juniors. And they get
putting
sit
in a bit
in.
of Homer going like, what will my title be? Vice President. No, wait. Junior Vice President.
And then they get extra money as well.
Yeah, and I just like the idea of like, great, I got the title, and then they're like, okay, well, we're meeting at this time, and then Danny's like, what?
I will not
I
be
could
there.
go to a fucking meeting?
Yeah.
So the next thing that happens, all right, so like...
So who are the 2 super juniors? Danny?
Oh, fuck me, who knows?
Danny's one.
Is it fucking Noel Grealish is the other?
I don't know. Like the fact, like, what's so good about the... I don't want to get into it too much, but like, they know. It's the winking at the camera is what makes them so good. And like, because there was that thing where like Michael was being interviewed. And he goes like, if President Trump needs any help sorting out Ukraine against Putin, Danny is your man. And he points at Danny. And like, you know. Danny knows. Like, he's literally been like, this is easy.
I love it. Again, like, I mean, I'm always hesitant to talk about Val because I could end up not stopping talking about him, you know?
Yeah.
But like, very similar energies, obviously. Danny's in the south, Val is up north, okay?
Yeah, you take the south, I'll take the north.
And then we have the guy who can read and Athlone in the middle. And so, but like, the Val was talking about it, and he was like, gosh, sure, you know, if I'd gotten in now, I'd have just said to them, look, I don't care what you want from me. Like, I don't want any credit. Don't even give me anything. I'll solve the children's hospital. I'll build it. Okay. Just give me that and I'll sort it out. Okay. Anyway, the other thing about it is that all the stuff that's happened in the past day with government and formation and all this stuff, Val has not had a single video about that, but he's had 3 videos about the LA fires and Trump's inauguration. Very funny. But anyhow,
I wish he got in. I just imagine all this going on and Val getting stuck in. You know what I mean?
Val would be there. He would be perfect for this doll, to be honest. But anyhow, I wanted to highlight about the things that were on the agenda for the election and the things that weren't on the agenda for the election. But by God, they're happening anyway.
Yeah,
so they go like, look, the Occupied Territories Bill is not perfect. It needs work. We need to take it back. You'd be the first to admit this. You'd be the first to admit this. We didn't have the time. We couldn't. And then, like, as soon as they get in, they're like, hey, nah, you know, fucking.
Yeah, like what Neil Martin said, where he was like, we're going to scrap the Occupied Territories Bill and do a new one.
Yeah, a new better one, and it won't be watered down.
So the fact that you're saying
it
that makes me think it's going to be watered down.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be watered down. I said it wasn't. I can see, understand, but I said wasn't before that. So the headline here of the Irish Times says Occupied Territories Bill to be replaced by new legislation, Taoiseach confirms, although now obviously Taoiseach. But anyway, when you read down through it, he's
not
like...
Taoiseach yet.
He is now, today. He is.
How is he?
But I go like, they basically give him, like, he's got a fucking paragraph of quotation here to just try and justify why he's doing what he's doing.
It's unreal the amount he's let speak. Like, I know he's Taoiseach or whatever, but like, shut up, you know?
Mr. Martin was asked about reports in the Mail on Sunday that the Occupied Territories Bill was going to be scrapped because of fears it would damage Ireland's corporate and diplomatic relations with the US. Quote, I'm not responsible for that report. What I can say is that I instructed my... Now, I'm going to read the whole thing. What I can say is that I instructed my officials prior to the general election to work on amendments to the then Occupied Territories Bill. All the work has been done, and in fact every single line, well not every single line, but virtually every section of that bill will have to be amended. So the issue is whether we have a new bill, which I think we probably will move towards a new bill in respect of imports into Ireland from the Occupied Territories, because I think it needs a full debate in the Dáil at second stage. And that's asked if this new piece of legislation would be watered down. He said, when you say watered down, I mean no. Sorry, I should say that the way he probably said it. When you say watered down, I mean no. It's just like, will I answer it? Which? Yeah, no, I won't. No. But anyway, then they get to the end and they go, Independent Senator Francis Black originally introduced the draft law. Mr. Martin was asked about an ongoing row over the fact that some members of the regional independent group want to remain on the opposition benches despite its members planning to serve in government. He said, the public aren't excited about an issue like that. He said he would take advice on the matter and form an opinion then. So that's just a bit of a teaser for what's going to happen later on. But the thing I wanted to do is that, like, remember they go like, okay, the Israeli embassy is the Israeli ambassador has left Ireland.
Yeah,
the Israeli embassy has been withdrawn or whatever the fuck. Okay, and now they're still interviewing her. They're still talking to her. They're still getting her opinions on everything.
Yeah, it's like she left.
Yeah,
just let her leave. Well,
Irish politicians are so blinded by hatred of Israel that they hurt their own economy, Israeli ambassador Dana Ehrlich says. That's anti-Semitic, is what I would say.
That is such an excellent line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, it shows, like, she understands Ireland. You know what I mean? She's like, this will hurt the economy. And now, I guarantee you that changed people's minds. You know what I mean?
It'd be a shame if something were to happen to this economy you got here. Which I definitely do not control. By the way, I'm not saying that they do control it. I'm just saying it's very funny that she's saying that, like, it's in, you're working against your own interests, because I could turn the money spigot on or off. I got America's ear. And then like people are like, what? So the Zionists control? No, they don't. That's anti-Semitic, actually.
Yeah. Where's all your money? In a bank, perhaps?
Israeli ambassador claims Ireland stuck in echo chamber. That's her being interviewed on RTE. The previous one was her being interviewed for the Irish Independent. And then at one point she was asked about something where she basically said, like, the Jewish community is telling Michael D to not speak at this Holocaust thing. And I was like, no, you're saying it. You're not like,
yeah.
But they were like, obviously RTE just reported as that. The Jewish community have said this. It was like, okay. I'm glad that the Jewish community can be kind of primarily located in one fucking woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many Jews are there in Ireland?
Like, I'd say 10 at least.
Yes.
How many? Sorry.
Yes.
I'm just not good with numbers. I'm going to say like 1,000.
2,000.
Okay. That was a good guess, in
Yeah.
all honesty. So here's
the toilet. I need to go.
I love it. Just like when we're in the middle of something, you're just like, oh, I have to go now.
We're always in the middle of something.
Come on. All right. Well, when you're back, I'm going to talk about the program for government. Are you there? He's already left. Unbelievable. Fuck this. I'm going to the toilet as well. So basically when we were saying, the plan for government, I read somewhere that it wasn't actually, there was nothing really there. And then I ended up listening to Rebel Recap, which is well worth a listen. And suddenly I was like, holy shit, like, where did I get the impression that the plan for government was like a bunch of bullshit? And it was because of the freaking lamestream media, okay? They kind of just didn't really talk about the plan for government. They're just kind of like, all right, well, government's going to be formed, all well and good.
Yeah.
There are these issues, but sure, fuck it. Once they vote Micheál Martin in, I'm sure it'll all iron itself out. But I wanted to bring it up. So one person who did actually write about it was Jack Horgan-Jones in the Irish Times, credit where it's due. What's in the programme for government? The main points from housing and health to transport and trade.
Thank you.
I went down through it and just kind of picked out some of the bits that I thought were relevant. But while we were talking about the Occupied Territories Bill, okay?
The what?
What they're doing is... Huh? What?
Occupied Territories Bill.
You weren't listening, and now you're trying to cleverly kind of be like, interesting. What was that? Just repeat that again. This is what happened in here? Is that what you're telling me?
Let me guess you read out the heading and I'll guess what they're planning to do.
The heading? I don't really have it in heading. I just kind of took out the sentences. So,
the district or whatever.
What are we talking about here?
You're like, this is what they're going to do at housing.
Well, housing, I don't think I even have it in here because, like, we know what they're going to do on housing. It's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what I meant to say was that we've already talked about with the Occupied Territories Bill, but like, and we're just going to replace it wholesale with something else. Okay.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, they're introducing the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which we talked about a little bit last week, which is the International Holocaust Remembrance Association's definition, which was disowned by the guy who coined it originally. Or whatever, coined, if that's the right word. But it's the one that was used. Huh?
Very interesting.
It's over now. It's actually okay. It's actually okay to be anti-Semitic now. Because here's why it's not anti-Semitic. I love Israel. Done. Okay? No longer anti-Semitic. So
I need to talk about that.
All right, we're gonna have to interrupt us to talk about.
You brought it up. I need
USA, 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 USA. Why?
It was so Elon Musk Sig Highland.
Yeah.
At the inauguration, like that.
I have a little giggle with his mates about it. Isn't this funny that I did this? It's like not really. No, actually, it's quite terrifying.
It was the most batshit inauguration I've ever seen in my entire life. First of all, you had Donald Trump dancing to YMCA at the pre-inauguration party. Yeah. It's like every rumor is like Donald Trump is gay. Okay, so he's gonna dance to YMCA. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Okay, he's going to Sig Heil. He's going to Hitler salute at the inauguration. Like, it really is the death of subtext. It's just like, oh, you think I'm a Nazi? No, he's not even doing that. Like, it baffles me that people are like, is he doing it? Is he not? It's like, I guarantee what happened is that he's part of some group on Twitter called, like, Based Conservatives, against globalism or something. And he saw like a funny edit of someone doing a salute against like, someone who's like working in Applebee's, the guy's saluting them or some stupid thing. And then he's like, oh, that'd be funny if I did that at the inauguration. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't want to be like a big fucking lib, but there are these kind of like institutions that are kind of, whatever, who gives a shit about the inauguration, but you stand behind like the presidential seal that's sort of meant to mean something. And the fact that all these guys, what they're like, we'll invade Greenland, who cares? Or like Trump as well, they asked him about Gaza and he was like, at his interesting like real estate potential, he was talking about building on Gaza.
Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location on the sea, best weather, everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting. But some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
And it's just the way that they talk about it, and it's like they're kind of like rubbing your nose in it and trying to make you feel bad and not taking it seriously. And usually, like, I'm kind of indifferent to it, but I think when a Nazi salute happens, it's kind of like we're at a point now where it's like if you're not taking it seriously, then you are a Nazi. You know?
No, he is a Nazi. Like, I think he is a Nazi.
Well, he is also a Nazi. Yeah.
I just don't think that.
No, he's autistic. Actually, sorry.
I think that I don't think he was Hitler saluting in. I think he was doing it as a weird joke, but I also think he's a Nazi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what and like the way he did it, like, you know, he's so pathetic. He's such a fucking stunted man baby. So like one of the things that happened, like all of his internet stuff is like decades old at this stage.
Yeah.
And you know, this is like 4chan shit. Wouldn't it be funny if I went up into the Nazi salute? I'm gonna do it. It's like, imagine you went on like a, you know, I don't know what school trip you went on, but imagine like, oh, we're gonna take you to Auschwitz or something. Oh, wouldn't it be so funny if I did a fucking Nazi salute?
Yeah.
Like a teenager, and you'd just be like, teenager would do it, and then you'd be like shaking your head, and the parents might be called, and you'd be like, that's so like, but then this is like a fully grown man with like children. And like,
I think I always like when these institutions get destroyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the annoying thing for me is that like to me it'd be good if everyone was like, okay, now that there's someone now that Trump is a president, we can all understand that it's a meaningless thing, and
yeah, exactly.
Maybe there shouldn't be a hierarchy like that. But
yeah.
It's annoying to me that the response is like, oh, why can't we go back to how it was? It's like, well, that wasn't good either. That led to that.
But you know, like how pathetic he was as well, just as like a little baby, where like a teenager, where he's kind of going like, so the first thing he does his Nazi salute, okay?
Yeah.
And you can see his little face of like,
yeah.
And then he goes, my heart goes out to you, because he couldn't bear it. He could have done it and then just kept going. But he's so like anxious that like my heart goes out to you, plausible deniability, and then he does it like 2 more times to be like, did you see what I did? Did you see what I did? And you're like,
I know,
you're so pathetic. You're such a like, do it or don't. But like the fact that we have to pretend that you're, Anyway,
I think it is that he's like, people will be going on Twitter and being like, yeah, Musk really showed those libs and they can't even say anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because he tricked them. Have you been to, I don't know how you would be, but have you gone to doge.gov? D-O-G?
No, I have not.
Type that into your browser. Doge.gov.
Do I have to?
Yeah. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's gone.
I love that. And on your Kickstarter Sucks, they talked about how actually Doge is racist as well, because it was meant to be kind of making fun of the way Japanese people say dog.
Oh yeah. They got rid of it, but for ages. I should have sent you a screenshot. You see the way it has the dollar thing?
Yeah.
There was a picture of the Doge underneath.
Really? No, there wasn't.
I swear to God.
Oh man, I don't know.
For like a week. The other funny thing was that, did you see Trump was tweeting from the presidential account so quickly?
Yeah, I saw that.
That it still had Biden's name and face.
Yeah.
Like, not even changing the profiler.
I loved how he was there. So like, because Zainab was sending me pictures of the inauguration, and I was like, it took so many people were at it that it like, with specific people were at it, that
the crowd
it wasn't
wild.
Registering with me. So like I saw a few pictures, and then about 10 minutes later I was like, wait a minute, was that Hillary Clinton? And so I like scroll back up, like Hillary Clinton is there with Bill Clinton, Obama's there obviously, and then Biden is there with everybody and Kamala. And then imagine, like, I saw a bit of his speech and he was like, the people who came before me are the worst fucking people, biggest pieces of shit. It's like, and you know how long he talks? He talks for like 3 hours or whatever. Imagine you're sitting there and you're kind of like, I'm going to show you the respect that you never showed me, Mr. Trump, and I'm going to sit through your inauguration. I'm going to be present for it. Do you remember? Because like when Biden was getting inaugurated, usually the former president is there or something,
And he didn't,
and
I
Trump
know.
just didn't show up. And now Biden is like sitting there and being like shit talked right to his face.
It's so funny.
And all the stuff that they're talking about, like the awful things that they're going to be doing and the executive orders and stuff, you know.
And it's like, do they not get that, like, not turning up would mean something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't. They're just like, essentially what you said, I'll show you the respect you didn't show me. And that means somehow I've won. But like,
and maybe I don't know if I'm being too generous, but like you couldn't pay me like enough money to sit there and just be made a fucking mockery of by the biggest fool in the world. Like I was like, I lose, and then I have to spend 3 hours having this guy who's the worst person in the world tell me how much I lost by and how much I suck. It's
yeah.
like, no, thank you. I've got better things to do.
Like,
with
there's
my time.
no bit of Trump that registers that, you know, there's no, like, the way he thinks, he's either like, that guy's a loser for turning up, or he thinks, this guy loves me, actually, because he turned up. You know what I mean? There's no bit of him that's like, oh, fair play to him. It's hard for him to turn up, but I respect him for turning up, you know?
Yeah.
Also, there's so many.
Sorry, I'm just trying to imagine Trump doing that. Like, oh, fair play. Do you know what? Like, I gotta have respect for that. I gotta, you know, when I see it, I have to say it.
Like, this is the guy who, when he was on the tour of Arlington, he was like, why do they do it? And the guy was like, they love their country. And he was like, what was it he did? Why? He was like, well, why even then? Like, he couldn't. He was like, they're losers. They died.
Yeah, like I remember he did say that about he liked his war heroes dead, basically, or something to that effect.
No, he liked the
where,
ones who didn't get captured.
Yeah, that was it. That was funny. Yeah.
And like, he didn't mean that in terms of honor. He's just like, if you get captured, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Then the other, I don't know, it's such an ultimate lib thing of like I don't know why she did it. There's no way you can pay me to do this. The woman who gave the mass or whatever.
Priest. Yeah.
And she's like, gets up there and she's like pleading for
mercy.
And it's like,
how undignified.
It's like, are you for real? You know what I mean? Like, again,
have you met this fucking guy? We know him so well, and the idea of being like, I hope that your better angels persevere.
It's like,
your
why?
fucking idiot mouth. What are you?
And like, again, if you refuse to do it, don't say something, but say it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Trump goes, they were like, well, how'd you make the mass? And he's like, I thought you did a really bad job and she should apologize. It's like, of course he's going to say that. Like, how delusional are you?
Mr. President, how do you feel about those words? Those bad words. I hate those words.
Like, that's
the
it.
worst words.
They don't get, they just fundamentally do not get that he will win the game. You know what I mean?
Well, we could just be giving them far too much credit, and they're just like, no, I don't really care who wins. I don't give a shit. You know, like Ryan Grimm put up something that was quite funny, surprisingly for him.
Yeah.
But he essentially said that because he's not a comedy guy, he's from Drop Zone News, but he said if they knew that Trump was going to get a ceasefire, they might have actually tried to win the election. So
yeah,
it's like they probably would have, because I think that they're like, all right, whatever, business as usual, who gives a shit, you know? Like, they really didn't, their heart wasn't in it. It was like, all you need to do is stop doing a genocide and you can get a bunch of young people to get on the phones and get excited for you. It's like, you can get those Muslims who you think betrayed you in Dearborn, Michigan, because they wouldn't vote for the guy who's killing their family. And it's like, you could have had all of that. And it's like, well, no, I prefer to do this. This is the decision that I'm making. And it's a decision that obviously backfired.
Yeah.
But if they'd known that Trump would have gotten that ceasefire, then maybe they would have.
They probably would have.
Holy shit, no.
Not
Not that it's going to last. Not that it has lasted. I mean, they're already like, you know, they're like set their eyes on the West Bank, and then they're also doing, you know, shit that doesn't seem in the spirit of the ceasefire at all. Like the first few hours of it, there was like Hamas is supposed to release the names, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't release the names. We're going to kill 13 Palestinians."
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
maybe
it.
just
Like,
get them on the fucking phone or something. I don't know if like that was, you know.
but like, yeah, they're not. The spirit of a ceasefire is you cease firing on people, and then they didn't do that. So
Yeah.
but some of the photos, like McGregor, Logan Paul, and Theo Vaughn all been on the same bus.
Yeah. Oh my
I
goodness.
thought it was interesting. I didn't see any photos of Peterson. Jordan
No.
Peterson.
I don't know if he was there. I mean, I
Irish.
know that Barry Weiss was taking photos of all the brave and the bold who turned out.
Oh yeah. I think. I mean, there is not much. I mean, it's maybe trite to say, but there is one party in America, and the Democratic side are they're the liberal side,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Conservatives are the conservative side. Like, they're all one party, but like,
Yeah.
you know, when Hitler was trying to come to power, there was a meeting. He met with a lot of the business leaders in Germany at the time, and they sort of didn't like how they felt that the Weiberg Republic wasn't good for business, basically. So they were pretty happy to fund Hitler. And like those are companies that are still around, like IBM and Siemens and all that. And I think that is really
What did you just say?
Siemens. Oh my god, I've been saying that for years. They like it really is what you saw at the inauguration was just like all these people who want to be oligarchs coming out and being like, "This is our guy." You know what I mean?
Did you see that Trump launched like a Trump coin over the weekend before his inauguration? The Melania launched a coin, and then I believe that there was another crazy priest that went up for part of the inauguration.
Yeah, I did see that.
He went up and said something, and then he launched a coin.
And
It's just like,
the Bible he swore on, it's like he's selling limited edition Bibles or something like that. But I really do think, and like this has obviously been happening for years in America, but I think it's in its final form. I think this time 4 years, you'd have seen like so many of the functions of the state sold off to private interests. You know what I mean? They're like, well, how it'll work is it'll be like, there'll be a company that's charged with delivering education, right? And the contract will be like, you can set up private education, state will give you money, but you can also charge or whatever. And then you also have to supply public schools, right? But then they won't specify how much funding needs to be allocated towards those schools. So they won't be funded. You know what I mean? Like everything is just going to go that direction. Like you saw it during COVID, where Trump was talking about like, where like Amazon, what does Amazon own? Like, what's that thing they have in America? It's like Deliveroo, but for your shopping.
yeah, no, DoorDash.
And they were like, anyway, my point is that it'll be like, I just think America's really on the road to like being some sort of anarcho-capitalist system. And I think that
big time.
over the next 4 years, it's going to be like massively accelerated. And then it's not like if the Democrats get in, they're going to undo that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, like, because I've fucking, again, watching Navarra Media for my sins, they were like, well, Trump did some like really positive, Biden did some very positive stuff around labor relations. And there was these things that were kind of, and I was just kind of like, will like Trump, like day one in office, he's already getting rid of, like, what was it, the World Health Organization? They're going to be withdrawing from it. And this is like the guy who was president during COVID. It's like,
I know.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's like, it's insane. And so people are like, well, they did some little bits. And I was like, they have no fucking gumption, do they?
No.
They got no drive. They got no like kind of desire to wield power. Let's put it that way. So this is it for the foreseeable until something hopefully rises up to fill it. But I mean, like, I guess, I hope, I'm not sure if it's the case, but that now an alternative could potentially rise. I mean, who knows? But like, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, it could. But like the Democrats, they like the status quo. But the Conservatives change the status quo. So it's like, Conservatives get in and change something. Then the Democrats are like, okay, well, let's just hold it here. You know? And then the Conservatives get in and change it again. And then the Democrats go, okay, well, let's just hold it here then, you know? It really is like that boiling frog thing.
JD Vance will be president in 2028.
It is, like, it might be insane to think this, but could Trump be, if he is still alive, could he run again? I know there's
with term limits he couldn't, but he could easily. I mean, you could imagine a reality where he gets rid of term limits.
Like, he's just like...
The great FDR. The great FDR, he ran 3 times. He was in 3 terms.
Ran 4
amazing
times.
President. What? 4, was it?
4, yeah.
4 times. The best we ever done it. The best we ever had.
Exactly.
It's like, if there was a person to stand up for then I'd step aside.
Like, there's a bit of a parallel, not to call everything Trumpian, and I'm not, but like, so the current Dáil.
Yeah, I want to bring that, for sure.
I know we're talking about the plan for government, but it's like, these are, people put forward the idea that there are rules, and it's just sort of like a way to buttress their argument, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
And then, every so often you realise that politics is just people in a room. They're like, there's a government formed, and it's Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, and the Regional Independence Group. And then the Regional Independence Group go, well, we want more speaking time. We want to be in opposition as well as being in government. We want opposition speaking time. And then Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael go, okay, we'll make that happen. We can give it a punt. Even though it's never happened before, it's completely against the spirit of having an opposition.
Like, it doesn't make, it doesn't make any sense. They have such a willing media that we're having a conversation about it, which is so fucking funny. Because I remember, like, we talked about this like last Thursday. I was like, had my feed open, and then I saw written down like, yeah, they're looking for like opposition speaking times. Like, how the fuck does that happen? Like, that just blatantly makes no sense. If you're in the government, you're in the government. You get government speaking time. Done. Deal. Done. You made the grubby deal. Live with it.
Like, it's just such a, like, how do you argue it? It's like, I want to be in opposition. Well, are you in the government? Yeah. Well, then you can't be in opposition. The conversation should be that short. And like, even when you watch, like, I was watching videos of all the uproar that happened in the Dáil of the past 2 days, and like, the opposition are just saying that. They're just like, we're opposition. They're in government. So they can't be in opposition.
Well, let me just finish one part that I wanted to get to here, and then get on to the other bit, which will link these two together, I hope. So we'll dip back into the plan for government. But the most important thing, I just wanted to highlight the part where it's like, here are the things that they're doing, and here are the things that they ran on, and they're completely fucking different. Okay, like they ran on like enacting the Occupied Territories Bill. Now they're saying like, well, they said, oh no, we it's a good bill, but like it needs some work, and once we get in, we'll figure out how to implement it as quickly as possible.
Saying it's a good bill.
Yeah, they just throw it the fuck out. And then the next thing that happens was they're going, let me just read, sorry, where is it? I want to get in trade and defence. A further €1 billion is pledged for the Shared Island Fund. The programme promises to protect Ireland's neutrality while reforming the Triple Lock and to cooperate with international partners on security, military procurement and undersea defence. So that's in the plan for government. We need to fucking go after the Triple Lock. Another thing that was like we pointed out at the time, but I'm going to read it out here so it's on the record. Whichcandidate.ie was the name of the website. I think it was done by University of Limerick. You find your candidate, you find your constituency, you answer these questions. It tells you what the answers were for all of the people you could potentially vote for in your constituency. Here's the question. Ireland should retain its triple lock rule for deploying troops abroad. Agree, neither disagree or nor agree. Disagree, no opinion. Those are the options, okay? So, Fine Gael, this is Fine Gael? Yeah, this is Fine Gael. So for all the Fine Gael people, it's just the party line. So they send it in to Party HQ. Party comes back with like, this is Fine Gael's position. But this is the only place where I saw them asked about the triple lock. Comment. The decision of where and when to deploy Irish troops is one for the democratically elected government of Ireland and the Dáil. The current triple lock gives Russia, China and others a say over Irish troops and this should be removed. So they said, that's their answer. Fine Gael say, triple lock should be removed. Fianna Fáil. We do not support Putin's regime, China, or indeed the other permanent members of the UN Security Council having a veto over the deployment of the Irish Defence Forces to peacekeeping missions. Now, they don't say it that they'll remove it, but I think that pretty much obviously implies it, you know? And so that's what's happening. They're gonna like they're gunning for the triple lock, and it's like, and then when I think it's related with Occupied Territories Bill and the IHRA thing, where the IHRA thing, they're like, oh, we want to be in line with Europe using that definition, and you're just like, oh, this is crazy. Like you're just making a more militarized. And then remember, like Micheál Martin on the debate stage where he just goes like, the world is a dark place. Like we need to be prepared and like. We're not defending ourselves.
It's so, like I've said it before, you know, there's a thing in like what are the penal laws, you know, was that Catholics couldn't serve in the army. And I, you know, you might assume that like they'd encourage Catholics to fight in the army because like, sure, it'd just be cannon fodder or whatever. But the idea was like, to be in the army there's two things. It's engaged fully in the state or in the country or the kingdom or whatever. And then the other thing was that it was a good method of social mobility, you know? So they wanted to keep Catholics down. And like, I think it's sort of the same here. It's like Micheál Martin want to be as militarized as possible. Because it like allows them to fully participate in EU and NATO and whatever activities, and it also is a good way of like increasing Irish clout in the world. But like it always comes back to like, who would you trust in Irish politics to lead Ireland into a war? Like who? Like. Think about any politician of the past. I mean, you go back 100 years, but of the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, who? Would you trust Simon Harris? No. Like, would you trust Bertie? No.
No.
Would you trust...
Like,
who would...
Absolutely
like, imagine Brian Count. Like... So, like, the triple lock is... In one way, it is a bit mad. It's like, why should America have veto over our military? But like, it's good because it makes it as difficult as possible for Ireland to engage in war.
It's not only that, like these guys are always like, oh, we want to be in the big boys club. We want to be up there next to them. And then it's like, well, we are now because of... You know, like we're enmeshed with these countries because they can decide whether, like, Russia says, no, you can't. America says, no, you can't. Like, you're at the table, you're having the conversation, you're leading in a different way if you were to look at it that way, but you don't.
Yeah.
You don't see yourselves as, now I can come to the table as a neutral arbiter and I can be part of those negotiations and trusted and spoken to. And like,
exactly.
You know, like that, it's just this type of maturity. It's like, no, I want to fucking bang, bang. I want to be out there. I want to fucking...
It's like, I want to do what America tells me to do.
Yeah, it's literally that. I mean, that's our whole thing.
Like,
that's the reason that the Occupied Territories Bill is being fucking shelved at all, you know?
And like, I don't buy, you know, this talk about defense, like what if Russia invades? I don't buy that because, like, one of the good things about having Slovenes in charge is that they are good about getting into other people's business. So like, Ireland has, for better or for worse, a lot of the time for worse, like, we're like a hub of global tech. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like a lot of legal rulings apply to the rest of Europe regarding technology stuff. But also, like, there's a lot of critical infrastructure in Ireland regarding, like, global communications.
Yeah.
So, like, other countries have a vested interest in keeping Ireland safe.
Yeah.
So, like, if Russia were to threaten to invade us, we would be protected by larger countries.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you might say, oh, that's not fair, we're just freeloaded. But, like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what
like,
outcome do you want exactly?
It's like England supplies a certain military cover for Ireland because if Ireland gets taken over by whoever, that's bad for England. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or what about, like, the other thing about, like, doing this constant saber rattling is like a provocation. It's not like, so, like, the idea of going up and being like this fucking little pipsqueak and then punching the biggest guy in the yard.
Like, that's,
Like,
I think, like, we are a country full of Slovenes, and I think we should just, like, roll with that.
Yeah.
You know?
I also think, like, we also have a perfect example of a country that's much bigger than us, who has the entire backing of the West and is still losing a fucking war to Russia.
Yeah.
The idea of just going, like, what will happen if Russia invades? Like, well, like I said in the past, we'll be invaded. There is nothing that can be done about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, can you imagine a reality in which Ireland successfully fights off?
Send those fishermen out there, those fucking guys were fucking... Putin was seething. He was red in the face. And I'm not talking about the sort of red he normally is, if you know what I'm saying.
What red is that? Communist.
So the climate, I wanted to get onto this thing. So here's a great line. This is quoting Jack Horgan Jones. The document says the parties will allow data centers that contribute to economic growth and efficient grid usage. Thank you.
Finally, we get a good internet connection.
Yeah, and then it says, and this is the kicker. Well, there's two things here. Actually, I'll lead up to the big one. On the nitrates degradation, it promises to do everything within its power to make the case in the EU for retention. So that's to basically, please let us keep using these harmful pesticides that are fucking up the planet. And then finally, here we go, fucking air horns blasting. It promises to ratify the CETA trade agreement. And Jack Horgan Jones, now, to take away his credit, does not even put like what CETA is. He doesn't even describe it. He doesn't put it in fucking brackets afterwards.
Yeah.
And we've talked about CETA and people know about it, but just for your information, CETA is like Canadian-European trade agreement.
Yeah.
And one of the things, whatever, it's a big piece of trading legislation. But the main thing is that they have investor courts which can basically take Ireland to these courts. And
if Ireland threatens profitability of the if some like new law threatens the company's profit, essentially, and then, but don't worry, Micheál Martin has said that they won't be in a position to do that.
Oh, okay, good. Why am I even talking about it then? Yeah, all right, sure.
That's the end of the free bit. Go to patreon.com/KeltyCligers to hear the rest where Gav Riley just wants to find out who the new transport minister is, but everyone won't stop yelling. Paul Gaugerty tells us what Chapel Roan would make of everything. They break down the new cabinet and expand on the incredibly bleak things we can expect from them, which is promised in the plan for government.